with Mike and Kim, bringing local music, news and interviews. On the Zeds 91.1.
Around your neck until you say please. You're tough but I'm out of the game. Not you but the feeling's the same. It's not about the chivalry, playing that's off my agony. The feeling I want is more than what's on offer, and the consequence is dear. I had to give and take.
Listening to the local on the Zeds. That was Terra Axis from their The EP. There was a track called Your Saviour. We are lucky enough to have a couple of the legends from Terra Axis in the studio tonight. Welcome to the local, guys.
Hey, thanks, Kim.
Hello.
Now, do you just quickly, for those who can't see you, say who you are, what you do in the band, just so people know the voice.
Can I say I'm a guitarist now? Just Scott. I'm just hanging around with musos. I'm the drummer.
And I'm Craig, and I hold a guitar and sing.
So how long have you been doing music?
Oh, well, I do not remember a time I didn't hold a guitar or sing my little heart out. I've always been a performer, probably ever since I first ever saw Michael Jackson, but then my taste definitely improved over time. I've been, in bands, basically, I've always had a group of people that
We've known each other for over 20 years.
It's, a couple of decades, and it's been a great community to be a part of, and grown up with it. So it's been really cool.
And my first gig was when I was 14, so I've been doing it a hot minute.
Yeah. Self-taught or?
Yeah. Well, my dad's a drummer and my brother's guitarist, and so I sort of grew up around music, doing all that.
I'll do a shout out to my old guitar teacher, Brian Dewey, who tried his absolute hardest, but I'm still just a rhythm guitarist with a big voice. So
he's like, I got a shout out. And he's like, oh.
No, seriously, he was more of a life mentor, actually. We spent a lot of time just talking about life and navigating this world. And I think something that, is kind of latched onto is, especially when it comes to picking a musical instrument, like when you have a guitar, you've got a friend. When you've got drums, you've got baggage.
It's already started. It's like, I feel hurt.
So what's your musical background then? Who do you, I mean, you mentioned Michael Jackson already, but who did you sort of gravitate to when you were younger?
Well, for me, I sort of, like everyone, got an introduction to, the heart of music through Metallica. So, I suppose I always kind of get referred to as Hetfield with my voice. But if I was to pick one person that's really I've latched onto over many, many years, would be Corey Taylor. And that's not just through Sniplock, but all of his other projects as well. Yeah, but I take inspiration from anything and everything. I like most music, if not all music. I don't like music that's performed like a karaoke competition. I like to see a band. Went out to that Lookout Festival, and it was freaking amazing to see, all those Aussie rockers still going, and then one group come out without a band. And it's just like, oh, come on. Just put a band on, please. Yeah.
I've had my dad was actually in a Jimi Hendrix cover band, and they got the record from England before it came here. Yeah. So they learnt everything, and then basically at the height of it, they just were playing every night.
Yeah.
So sort of grew up that way, and then I ended up being in a band with my dad and my brother, classic, called Morbid Slaughter. And
that would have been dangerous.
Yeah. No, we played with some of the old school metalheads like Martyr and Disembodied and all that back in the venue when it was the venue. And so over the years, just been in different bands, and I think we've all been in different original bands around Adelaide over the years. Yeah. Like Oilseed and Neurosis and Spline.
So everyone's had a try.
And like all these bands, like we've all done our own thing, and we've all actually played with each other's bands in different gigs at some time or another, or have actually been in one or four of another or each other's band.
That was one of the criteria to join Terra Access.
So that's why we got he's like, because obviously Craig used to be in a band with him as well, like years and years ago.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing as well. And like when it comes to like our philosophy is, probably culture and friendship first. It's got to be like we want to rock up and enjoy each other's company and have a good time. And like you can be the best musos and create the most technically brilliant song ever, and it's going to sound great straight from the studio. But I think our live energy comes from us intuitively knowing where each other's going and what we're feeling and what we're going to do next, and actually thoroughly enjoying it.
You always put on a good show. So.
And if you get too comfortable, I'll make sure to go sideways.
I was going to say, you just add a few beats per minute to that next track and get us all back in line.
Sorry, that was a different time signature there. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, shit.
So we will talk about songwriting a little later on, but we started with Your Saviour. Where'd that one come from?
So, I mean, that was one of those lightning in a bottle moments. We just start off with a riff and it kind of gets all put together. Lyrically, it's just about, just having a lot of pressure put upon you to fix everything. just it's kind of like it's a personal.
It's
feeling.
a percolating coffee pot, really. Like I was into like Gojira like heaps at the time.
Yeah.
So sort of like, I like that. His drumming, and I think after we did the first album, we sort of thought, all right, now we're going to do some writing, and we sort of came up with a song. But then you sort of like, all right, you got to push yourself each time, I guess. And it wasn't to the point where, what are you going to write? It just sort of happened very naturally.
Organic. It grew.
And it's sort of like sometimes we get lucky where we write a song, majority of it in a night. You don't always get it. But
no, it's like it's not 90% there, but the other 10% can take months. But you kind of get to a point where it's just like, I feel this. I feel this is done.
And it's not actually in concrete until it's recorded.
No, never let the concrete set until it's out there. And even then, it's like
it's a little bit more mixing.
And live, it's like sometimes we got some tracks that I won't say they dribble on. I'm just going to say when we wrote them and recorded them, we had a lot to say and a lot to put across. But,
especially the first album.
But when it comes time to play live, sometimes that 7-minute song can be 4.5 minutes and we can move on, right?
Yeah, you just got to be a bit more realistic and actually try to listen to it outside of yourself. Which is really hard.
Makes sense.
As a musician in a band.
Oh, we're going to play another track from that.
Ooh.
From that one now. This is Beneath Me.
Ground as though you deserve the throne.
You are listening to The Local on the Zeds. That was Beneath Me by Terra Axis. We still have the lads in the studio. So how did you come together as Terra Axis?
I don't want to really admit this, but we came together as a 90s grunge cover band.
Yeah. I like you said, I actually, look, admittedly, not the biggest fan of cover bands.
We
but
were all in other projects at the time as well.
And I just went, effort.
I'll forgive you. You got better.
And it was sort of like Al Capunda way, and just started doing like 60s, 70s, and then moved through to like 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And I like, and then we started doing a lot of like 90s, didn't we? Like,
we
Rage
kind of
and that.
gravitated to that decade.
I think it taught me
we learned
a lot of
so much through emulation,
straight and writing, and
and
just everything flat out.
Especially for me, for a singer that was always in original music, doing the covers pushed me well out of my comfort zone, and I became. I don't put tickets on myself.
You became the yardling fiend. You were just loving it.
I still call myself coattails because I surrounded myself with such. I surrounded myself by so many great musicians. I surrounded myself with so many great musicians and a drummer.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Careful, I'm from a drumming family over here.
Lots of damage.
They gotta have fun. Like,
No. That's it. No, and that's
it did teach us a lot, though.
We learned so much.
But then, like one day, we just went. We were all in original bands, so why don't we try and write an original? And we quite literally that night we wrote one, and we went, oh, okay.
Yeah. And like, I think the funniest thing about that is also started a bit of a tradition for working titles.
Yes,
because that song that we wrote had no name. It's now what song was that? It's Scotty's Windmill. Scotty's Windmill is what the working title was.
I bought a windmill for our Kerr's book.
Yeah. So we just called the song.
The guy's like, let's just call that.
Yeah, Scotty's Windmill. But it was what song was it?
Liar.
No, it wasn't Liar. It was one before that.
Yeah. Now you're gonna ask the drummer about.
Yeah, I am gonna ask the drummer about the name of the song. Look, it's on our first album. If you listen to all 14 tracks on Spotify or Bandcamp, you'll listen to it. So yeah,
but yeah, killer.
And then like, obviously, we all didn't always have Azza in the band. We had Glenn, who was our original bass player and wrote the last 18 tracks with us.
Yeah.
But even then, like I was in a band with Glenn before. Scott was in a band with Glenn before. I don't think Glenn and Jeremy ever were in Swine at the same time. You were.
Yeah, I think it was close.
Yeah, close. Yeah, but and that was one of the reasons why Azza was just such a perfect fit, was because he's been around us the same amount of time as the rest of us.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a matter about auditioning to see if someone, was able to keep up with whatever we were doing. It was about, is someone going to fit in?
Yeah.
Is someone going to be able to enjoy our company as much as we're going to enjoy theirs every single week?
Well, it's going to show through, isn't it? Like, if you enjoy each other's company, you're going to enjoy writing. If you enjoy writing, you enjoy recording, gigging, rather than, all of us catching our own buses to gigs because we're so famous.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, we're not an all-star team by any stretch of it. Like, we're just dudes that just have a good time and write music.
I think it's just because of the history of over the years. I was knowing so many metal bands and grunge bands, and it's just like the history in Adelaide is great for that.
Yep.
Like the amount, we're actually quite spoiled, I think, with the amount of musicians in Adelaide.
Yeah, but that only will continue as long as everyone, such as Kim, keeps supporting the scene. Like,
definitely. Like,
we need a platform, we need a stage, and
congratulations.
Thank you.
500.
I know.
Yeah, 500.
And if people work that out,
10 years.
That's over 10 years, people.
A sexy, sultry voice coming over the line. You're not blushing, are you?
No.
Come on.
Oh,
She's like,
no, it's menopause. It's all right. So what is the basic songwriting process for you guys then? Has that sort of changed over the years?
Well, I used to play bass. So, of course, the drummer trying to bring things in is always funny. I don't get very successful. The last album I did. But pretty much like when Jez or Craig's got something they'll bring in.
Yeah.
Like, it's like just an idea and we might run with it. all of a sudden we'll go nah, and then we'll totally change it. It won't even sound like that, but it's spawned something else.
Yeah.
So that's fine as well.
And a song can spawn into two songs, or like we had one song called Pseudoscience that we had for a long time, and it was just never getting the energy we wanted live, or even the feeling just in the jam room just wasn't quite right. So we ended up letting that fall to the floor, and then we wrote another song, and I don't know who suggested it, but it was just a matter of Jez, play that riff over the top of that. I'll play that riff, you play the other riff, and it just
that worked. That actually
perfectly.
worked really well.
And just like, oh, there you go. There's our homage to Pseudoscience, because like, and the thing is, there's so much time we spend on a lot of these tracks that never actually make it.
Yeah.
As much as like our album was a purge of 14 tracks all at once, the stuff that didn't make it there, like there are still moments of gold and a lot of love and care and dedication that, you know, is literally just sitting on mobile phone recordings.
I
that.
enjoy like listening back onto old recordings that, you know, obviously you do it on your phone, and it's like, oh, that's actually virtually the song.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, those ones like that, you know,
lightning.
that actually they stay around and they're just really killer songs.
And you know what? Like, I think, even the biggest of big bands will say, you know, sometimes the songs that they write in an hour are the ones that are most successful.
Yeah. So what song do you reckon pulls the most energy at gigs?
Ooh, geez, it depends. You ask everyone, everyone's got their own favourite.
Like we've got a long one that we used to play, Control Freak. And I think that's pretty like
it's got to be if you don't watch the beats per minute from the drummer, like you're on the floor crying by the end of it. Yeah,
it starts to crank up and they're like, stop, and I'm like, I can't.
But I think the EP is just because that's obviously us maturing as a group. Like, that was our second sit down, all right, and then studio record. So I think
that's what we said, wasn't it? Like, if we ever get another 4 songs that we're happy with, then we'll record. And it happened really reasonably quick, I think. And I was like, oh, sweet. You know,
you guys were recording before I finished the lyrics. It's just like,
and that's, you know, there's nothing worse than like you're trying to write music and that's just struggle town. Like, you know, so I just love, like, if you can get, we've had a few good jams with Azza.
Oh yeah, there's,
and I'm like, oh,
we're
I
close.
can see. I'm like, all right, okay, I can see what's going to happen. So I'm just like busting at the nuts, try and get it done.
It's like it's there. Like that's the thing. It's like I suppose it's like everything. Like you can see the foundation's already there. It's just like, you know what?
Yeah, but if you add someone else to the mix, you're not always going to get that. You
gotta
know,
be careful with the
and
chemistry.
then and then all of a sudden we're like, just, you know, when you're tuning or you're mucking around before we start doing a set, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's nearly a song. It's like, oh, watch out.
You guys regularly have jams?
Yeah, because I've got a studio at my house.
Absolutely.
Bit spot, the drummer does work.
Well,
I've had my share of doing that, you know.
I was going to say, it's you've had your own heartache to get to where you are too, mate. So this is jam room number 3.
We've gone through a few fires. And
so,
the guys have actually lost quite a bit of equipment too, not just me.
But that's the thing. We lost equipment. You guys lost. You lost everything. It's start again.
So it's good, like having our own space. Like we can get there every week. And
has sort of over the albums, has things changed in how you put them together now? So like,
I think we're in a way we're more critical of ourselves when we're.
Like we don't need to waffle as much, or like, do you really need to do it for that long? Like,
well, that's the track. That is the track.
Just being honest, you know.
You can write a track and it ends up being 8 minutes. You're just like, well, do I have that much to say really? It's like, well, yeah, I do, but maybe I shouldn't say it all. Yeah. And let's cut a verse, cut a chorus, and sometimes we like back in the first album, like we just transitioned into something else, and it sounded great.
I don't think we were very much timekeepers. We weren't really.
No, we'd never paid attention to that until we get to the point like. We'll play another track later on tonight where we have this massive intro and it's like we really should have done a radio edit.
Yeah.
Not here.
No, not here. Not for you beautiful people out there because you love local. So
yeah. Well, we are actually going to play a track, Under Duress. When did this one come out?
Oh, the album Under Duress. Yeah.
What was the time difference between the two? I didn't write it down.
It was 2021. So that was during COVID. No one's gigging. No one's allowed to do anything. So we lived in a studio against the grain with Andy Kite.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to play Another Decade of War.
Beautiful.
One of my favorites.
Get your hands off my face! In election we pass on and the difference so fast that everyone's scared. And everybody's dead. I don't need an excuse for all of your inability. It's the future that you lead. The circle is cast from one we have learned so far, but nothing's gonna last. Once you choose your voice to lose through the silence of belief, yeah, it's never gonna leave. Now we're left to contemplate another decade of war. Choices that we may have through belief and despair. When is it ever fair? Forgetting what we have, pretending what we have, the lines are now blurred. History untold. Yeah, you're ready to contemplate another decade of war.
Guess he wasn't watching. You are listening to The Local on the Zeds. It is 12 minutes past 8 o'clock, and we have Scott and Craig in from Terror Axis. That was from their album Under Duress, Another Decade of War. And no, everything's moving. It's just me. So what's next for you guys anyway? So any plans for gigs? Now, we did mention I will get that one up now.
A few that we can't mention and a few that we can mention.
Yeah, there's announced wise. There's
Blood Sacrifice.
Yeah, that's very, very, very cool. That's a massive lineup at TIA on Hindley Street, coming up in 14th of June.
Yep.
Yeah, and also very fortunate enough to be opening up the Woodshed for the Rock Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I haven't been out there yet. I need to get out that way.
oh, it's great.
You would
It's
love
great. Yeah. There's beers that will put you on the floor there. There's the blackest of black beers.
Is this where I go? I only go for the accessible toilet.
And actually, it is.
Yeah,
very
I was
Yeah.
so cool. I saw a video of I think it was actually Phil and Tish doing a fly through of the place. And I'm like, yes, it's got a toilet.
It's a really good vibe.
Yeah. And the staff are so accommodating too, and that's the thing as well. Like there's no pretension, no nothing, just rock up, and you're there to have a good time.
That's like here at Unit 3 too.
Oh,
I mean, because
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually loved playing.
What
there.
a
That was really
privilege!
good.
That was killer. That was
another accessible venue.
yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Well, no,
advocate
I'm
for it,
dropping
mate.
them in.
Like honestly, there's when members of the
difference is,
community
like, if
can't
you-
enjoy themselves like the rest of
But
us.
if you go to Victoria,
Yeah.
it's actually quite accessible everywhere. Like so,
except for the Victorians, but
but
I was born there.
I thought you were talking about being accessible.
no, so it's good. Yeah, and obviously we're looking to actually, write some new music. Really,
Yeah.
We want
Yeah.
to get Azza on record. Really,
Well, that's
get him
it.
in there.
Does Azza sing?
He used to when we were on Erosion
He's a
together.
crooner.
Yeah.
I'll just dob him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, hear him at night after a few little beers.
Oh, about 2:30 in the morning. Yeah.
He's a good lad.
He is.
It's good value.
I was going to say the old conversation about I'm a few beers in would be the text message that's how to always start about 2:00. Yeah, but look, and that's the thing. Like we've all known each other for so long.
Yeah.
And as much as has only been a part of this band since like late last year, he's been there the whole journey with us. Like he was in my second actual like band that did stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that whole journey, he was there very, very early on, and it's really, really cool that he's still there.
I think it's going to be interesting to actually see, because he actually plays guitar.
He's a very good guitarist.
So he's playing bass like a guitar, which is what I used to play. And also, Jez has got another guitarist that essentially he can bounce off and actually go, oh, what about this? I'll go, oh, what about this? You know?
Yeah.
And he's not
gonna be
saying that
different.
because I am also a guitarist, but
I think
I'm
you
sorry.
know. Well,
I'm sorry,
yes,
Brian.
I
I'm
think
sorry. Yeah.
Craig is the salt and pepper of the band. He
yeah.
actually is very
I
good.
did the doodly doos.
He's very good at that, those little spicy bits. Just so you remember.
I'm the oregano in the pasta.
You're my special blend of herbs.
Oh gosh. So, couple of gigs coming up, new music coming up, hopefully.
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of your previous tunes?
Oh, everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So now when we distribute it online for streaming, it's on every streaming service. Even if you want to do one of those freaking dance along TikToks, you can find our music there.
It's Linktree. You've got YouTube.
Yeah. Look, our
Spotify.
Linktree will go to everything, but socials will link it there. But yeah, obviously, look, Spotify is the necessary evil of the world. That's where we, that's where we predominantly find our plays are being played. But yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Amazon, we're on Apple, we're on, I don't know, some
Bandcamp.
Russian places. Bandcamp, Bandcamp. That's where you can buy
I'm
our
a big
physical merch as
supporter
well.
of Bandcamp.
Yep.
Yeah, so our physical merch is on Bandcamp, but we just started some print-on-demand merch as well. That you
say
can
you're
get from our
doing-
Linktree.
I was going to say, have you got any merch going?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Craig has set it up.
yeah. Look, I will still advocate if you want to support the band, go to the show and buy your merch there. But if you can't get to the show, if you're interstate or you got kids and you can't get there, like another great way is to support.
I would love people just to buy our merch, doesn't
Yeah.
matter where they're from.
That's it.
That'll be great
Yeah.
because then we can do more.
That's right. And look, and that's the thing. Like we're rocking up to shows, getting paid sometimes in beer, getting paid sometimes in dollars that didn't cover the parking.
I think if we were doing it for money, it would have happened.
No, that's right.
Long time
We are glorified T-shirt salesmen, if you will, but that is a way that you can truly support a band, and it doesn't have to be just us. Any band, you got rock up to a show, you like them on stage, you have a chat with them, you have a beer with them, you think they're really cool dudes. All right, buy them a beer, and then buy yourself.
We've been going to so many shows lately and just buying the merch and a record or whatever they've got. Like just. It's all uplifting the whole community anyway. So, yeah,
I have so many shirts at home. They don't fit, but I still buy them because one day maybe I'll make one of those like blankets.
Oh yeah,
cut all the shirts.
That'd be a piece of South Australian history, wouldn't it? That'd be so cool.
Maybe you could turn that into your Triple Zed flag,
or just
up on the tower with the Christmas lights.
Yeah,
get some cushion inserts, stitch them up, throw pillows. I love it. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Because look, that's the other thing as well. Like, I struggle to find shirts that fit me, and it's because I'm massive. I'm a large dude.
Well, isn't that what's good about like that print on demand?
Well, that's right. Yeah,
get whatever size you want.
Exactly.
And
do it. We found a couple that I think it's Gildan brand are the bigger ones. Yeah. Because we've got a couple of local shirts that we made that. Yeah, we won't mention them anyway. So, Cardinal Sin, you've just had a video out for that one. What was the? How did that come about?
So this is one of those beg for forgiveness instead of permission sort of things. I applied for us to enter this project called 10 by 10 with the Fringe and Channel 44, which is 10 music artists, 10 film artists creating 10 music videos in 10 days.
A little bit crazy.
Bringing that to the band as we got accepted for it during the Fringe when everyone's already bought tickets to everything and juggling footy practice with the kids and work and life, and then just going, oh yeah, by the way, we got accepted to this, and as of today we got 10 days to present something. We met a killer group of people in a completely different community. So when we met Theo and the gang that just did the filming, I never even knew that this community of people existed. And like Adelaide Film is hot. Like it is, everyone in there is just same as the music community. They got love and support and care for each other. Like when I say support, they are so supportive of each other, right? Yeah, and you see that community in a similar light to what I see our music communities like.
Yeah.
And it was like an art collaboration of two different forms of art coming together. And I didn't know what a gaffer was. I didn't know a gaffer was a dude that was like really cool with lights and all that kind of stuff. Isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Right. But it's like watching a band. Because you got the director doing something, you got the producer doing something, you got we had makeup, and like not like makeup, but some dude that was like literally gluing these green patches all over me so they could do some special effects and all that. But you're just watching all these people that are very, very, very good at their own craft.
Yeah.
Right? Doing something that, mate, Scotty and I, could you imagine us trying to do that?
No, we had a meeting with them and we're like, oh, what's your idea? Which song we told them? And we've always had a few ideas for Cardinal.
Yeah.
But then they were like, yeah, but what if your like face melted off and it was like, and we're like, just
like,
looking at
can
them
you
going,
do that? It's like, yeah, we can do that.
Sure. Right. And they did. It was like, okay, that's like, we played most of that that film clip with our eyes closed.
Yeah. And that was all part of the art. And that was the thing, like we wouldn't even think of that. Like, like that as a metaphor to, like us all having our eyes closed, because the story is about the systemic child abuse within one of the world's largest organizations. So actually having our eyes closed and being blindfolded up until, the point where the song peaks with the, there's the slow pretty part in the middle where, you kind of opens up the emotion. That's the first time you see our eyes. Yeah. But we weren't to think of that because we're not working in the visual, realm that they are.
And also what's doable in 10 days? And essentially we did filming on 2 days, on the Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And they had pretty much until that Sunday, like midnight to do it. And they did really well. So when we presented that and we watched it, like with all the other film clips, they said to us, we would actually like to do more.
Yeah.
we would like if you want us to.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
like,
It was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
so yeah, they actually added and worked on it a bit longer before we actually did that.
And,
yeah.
And now we've got the 8K release
Yep.
on YouTube. And look, it was also one of those things, and I was saying before about our first album is just like, we released it in 2021 and we all know what was happening around then. So we never really gave that album any justice in the way of, getting out there, playing shows and supporting it. Like, and we didn't really know what we're doing. It's the first time we've ever done a digital release of anything. Like back in our original days of playing music, you just burnt a 3-track CD at home and you either wrote on it on Texter or you used one of those printed sticker things that got stuck in your VL.
Or it was a lot more like the CD still. Like,
Yeah.
I remember those terrible things.
But yeah, so for us to be able to get this opportunity to bring up a song that tells, such a shocking story,
Yeah.
and then put the video behind it, and like even like Vince, like the actor that played that priest, like right, this is what I mean, like about the community. Like, go look at the other stuff that he's done. He is an incredible actor.
Locker?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the stories about that set as well for the other film that he was in. It's a rainwater tank.
Yeah.
They spent $10,000 turning it into like the interior of a submarine, and it's it's freaking cool.
Yeah. We'll have to search him out and give him a link. So I am going to go out with Cardinal Sin. Thank you very much for coming in
Thank you.
and having a chat.
Happy 500.
Yeah, happy
Thank you.
500.
Last question: what do you want people to take from your music?
A t-shirt. Look.
I would hope that they actually, if they didn't fully know us, that maybe when they're going home, they're just humming the tune and then they go, oh, what's that? Because sometimes seeing all these metal bands or different bands, you get lost.
Yeah.
So if someone can remember something and then search out your music.
And look, being a lyricist, go listen to the songs on Spotify. Open up the lyrics. If you want to see what we're actually saying, we're unapologetic in the stories that we tell. Like it's there's a real harsh Black Mirror sort of look at society. What I see from my own eyes, I put into words, and hey, look. The other thing is, correct me if I'm wrong. Reach out and say, actually, you know what? The message behind this song, I disagree with it. Would love to have a conversation because we'd love to smash echo chambers. The whole thing about the world's state at the moment is that we're just living within our own little communities and just thinking everyone else is wrong. But maybe we should just open up the dialogue and have a conversation.
All right. Thank you.
Deep.
There's Chris offense.